You've started more things than you can count. The gym membership you used for 3 weeks, the instrument sitting in the corner you were absolutely going to learn, the side project that consumed you for a month and disappeared completely. And every single time, you told yourself the same thing. What is wrong with me? Why can other people commit to things and I cannot? Why do I start with so much energy, so much certainty, so much, this time it will be different, and then nothing? I want you to hear something that neuroscience has now confirmed. Nothing is wrong with you. There is something different about you. And different, as you're about to discover, is not the same as broken. Scientists have now identified a specific region of the brain that controls novelty-seeking behavior. They've mapped the dopamine system that makes new things feel electric and familiar things feel flat. They have found the genetic variation that makes some people fundamentally more responsive to novelty than others. And they have discovered something about this brain type that nobody is talking about, something that reframes everything you have ever believed about your own ability. But first, we need to talk about what is actually happening inside your brain. Welcome. Here is where we go beyond behavior and into the brain itself. Today, we're looking at one of the most misunderstood neurological profiles in modern science, the novelty-seeking brain. What neuroscience reveals about why some people cannot commit to one thing, what that actually means about how their brain is wired, and the hidden advantage that comes with it. One quick note before we begin. This video is not about ADHD. ADHD is a clinical condition with its own distinct neurology. What we're exploring today is something different, a novelty-seeking brain wiring that exists in millions of people with no diagnosis at all. Though if you have wondered whether the two overlap, that's a conversation worth having with a qualified professional. Let us start with a brain region most people have never heard of, the Zona Incerta. This small but extraordinarily powerful structure sits deep within your brain, and until recently, scientists barely understood what it did. Then, researchers made a discovery that changed everything. The Zona Incerta is your brain's novelty control center. It receives direct input from the brain's higher-order visual areas, the regions that encode meaning and novelty of everything you encounter. When you see something new, something unfamiliar, something your brain has not categorized yet, the Zona Incerta fires. And when it fires, it creates a powerful motivational pull. Go there, learn that, try this, explore. In the research, when scientists disrupted Zona Incerta activity, subjects lost significant motivation to seek out new experiences. The curiosity, the drive, the pull disappeared. Now think about what that means for you. Your Zona Incerta is not underperforming, it's running at full power. Every new hobby that called to you, every new interest that consumed you, every new direction that felt like this is the one, that was your Zona Incerta doing exactly what it was built to do. Now, let's talk about why new things feel so electric. You already know dopamine as your brain's reward chemical, but here's what most people don't know. Dopamine doesn't just fire when you receive a reward, it fires when you encounter something new. Neuroscientists discovered that dopamine neurons activate specifically in response to novel stimuli, but not to familiar ones. This means every new hobby, every new project, every new skill you decide to learn triggers a genuine dopamine response in your brain. And here's the part that explains everything. Once something becomes familiar, once the novelty fades, the dopamine response fades with it. Not because you're lazy, not because you lack commitment, because your brain, biologically, stops releasing the chemical that made it feel exciting. The interest did not die, the dopamine signal did. And for novelty-seeking brains, this signal is significantly stronger at the beginning and drops significantly faster than in brains wired differently. You weren't chasing distractions, you were following your brain's most powerful motivational signal. Now, here's the discovery that changes everything you have believed about yourself. The same dopamine system that pulls you toward new things makes you learn faster. Let that land. Neuroscience research confirms that when dopamine is activated by novel stimuli, associative learning accelerates. The brain is not just motivated by novelty, it's optimized by learning by novelty. Which means the brain that cannot commit to one thing acquires new skills at an accelerated rate. Every time you picked up something new, your brain was not wasting time. It was learning faster than most people ever do. The guitar you played for 3 months, you progressed faster than the average beginner. The language you started, the coding you tried, the writing, the design, the photography. Every single one of those was your brain operating at accelerated learning speed. You weren't failing at those things, you were completing them at the pace your brain was designed for. And there's more.
Research on novelty-seeking and exploration behavior shows that high novelty-seeking brains are wired for what scientists call directed exploration, the preference for uncertainty, the pull toward the unknown. In evolutionary terms, these were the brains that found new food sources, new territories, new solutions to problems no one had solved before. The multi-interest brain did not survive in spite of its inability to focus on one thing. It survived because of it. Here is the final piece of the science. This is not a character flaw you can discipline away. Individual differences in novelty-seeking personality traits are associated with measurable differences in dopamine receptor availability, specifically in the substantia nigra and ventral tegmental area, two of the most fundamental dopamine-producing regions in the human brain. This is genetic, measurable, inherited. You did not choose this dopamine system. You were born with it. And every time you tried to force yourself to focus, to commit, to just stick with one thing, you were trying to override a genetic neurological difference with willpower alone. That was never going to work, not because you were weak, because you were using the wrong tool. If this is removing a story you have carried about yourself for years, that is exactly what this channel is here for. Subscribe, because what comes next is how to actually use this brain instead of fighting it. Before we get to the strategies, consider this. Leonardo da Vinci, painter, sculptor, architect, musician, mathematician, engineer, botanist, geologist, cartographer, writer, postmaster, abolitionist. These were not people who mastered the art of focus. These were people who followed every compelling pull and changed the world precisely because they did. The novelty-seeking brain is not a liability dressed up as a personality trait. It is one of the most powerful cognitive profiles in human history. The world just forgot to tell you that. So how do you work with this brain instead of against it? Here is what the neuroscience supports. 1. Stop calling it quitting. When your interest in something fades, you have not failed. Your dopamine signal has completed its learning cycle. Reframe it. I explored this fully. I extracted what my brain needed from it. I am ready for the next level of input. This is not delusion. This is accurate neuroscience. 2. Use novelty as a system, not an obstacle. Instead of forcing yourself to stay with one thing indefinitely, build novelty into your approach to that thing. New technique, new teacher, new application, new environment. Your brain does not need to abandon the subject. It needs novelty within the subject to keep firing. Feed the Zona Incerta with fresh angles rather than letting it pull you to fresh subjects. 3. Connect your interests rather than choosing between them. The multi-interest brain is not scattered. It is building a unique cross-disciplinary perspective that single-focus minds simply cannot access. The person who studied music, then psychology, then design, then writing does not have a confused career. They have a brain that can solve problems from 5 different angles simultaneously. That is not a weakness in the modern world. That is an extraordinary advantage. 4. Work in sprints, not marathons. Your brain is optimized for intense, focused bursts on new material. Stop designing your life around marathon commitment and start designing it around high-intensity sprints toward meaningful targets. 90-day deep dives, seasonal focus periods, project-based commitments with defined endpoints.
This is not giving up on depth. This is aligning your structure with your neurology. Let's bring it together. Your inability to stick to one thing is not a discipline failure. It is a novelty-seeking brain with a fully activated Zona Incerta, a dopamine system that fires hard at new things, and a genetic wiring that accelerates learning every time it encounters something new. The same brain that collected unfinished projects learned faster than average every single time. The same brain that couldn't commit to one path was building a perspective no single focus mind could ever replicate. You were not broken. You were misunderstood by the world and, most painfully, by yourself. If this changed how you see your own mind, share it with someone who has been carrying the same story about themselves. Subscribe, because we're just getting started on what your brain is actually capable of. Think deeper. Stay sovereign. See you in the next one.